told us how to create new markets from Greece. The next two speakers that I'm going to present here on stage will speak about Africa and how is Africa as a market to explore and maybe possibly invest on. So, I would like to welcome on this stage Mr. Vincent Previ, Director of Chapter54, and Mr. Ahmed, CEO at Geidea Solutions. Please a big applause.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? It's okay? So thanks a lot for being so many today to hear about Africa. I'm Vincent Previ. I'm the head of the Chapter54 program. So very quickly, I'm going to describe what we do, and then we will discuss with Ahmed. So Chapter54 is a program operated by Partech, which is the main VC in Africa. Chapter54 is a program where we accelerate European tech companies with aspiration to enter African markets. The program is open to companies from all over Europe, from all the tech verticals. We are working with big tech companies like SumUp, Ebury, Ledger, OVH, but also with smaller organizations. So maybe there are people in the room who could be interested in what we do. We do it through workshops, mentoring, business trips, business introductions, but we also do it with the support of our incredible African mentors. And we are super lucky today because we have today one of our mentors with us, Ahmed, who is not only a mentor into a Chapter54 program, but he is a real African tech doer. So Ahmed, please explain us who you are.
Thank you for the introduction. Nice to be here at the event. So I'm the CEO of Geidea. Geidea is a payment company. It's a fintech. And also I'm a mentor in a Chapter54 program now for, 3 years. And also I'm a board member of a very nice health tech in Egypt. I've been finteching or in the fintech industry for 20 years now. I enjoy building from scratch and scaling companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today you're in the payment space in Egypt. Can you elaborate a little bit on what is the nature of the payment landscape in Egypt? Because it's difficult to compare with what we know here in Europe and how you were able to position your company into this very specific payment landscape.
You're right. Egypt or Africa, it's really different. So it's more feature-oriented market because there is still a lot of cash in the market. So I'll give you an insight now about some numbers, but I'll tell you that these numbers only represent 10% of the market because 90% of the market in Egypt is still in cash versus 10% is only electronic between cards, wallets, and it's like a diversity of many tools. So the market now is the 10% electronic only sitting at $70 billion in value annually, which is compared to $40 billion in value in 2023. So you can see the market growing in that 10%, only 30 billion in 1 year. So that's how big the opportunity is in Egypt or in Africa that you can convert the cash to digital or work in that space. Egypt now have 40 million wallets, led by Vodafone as the main wallet. Vodafone Cash is the dominant wallet there. The market also, I prepared some to dollarize it. So the market now have 1.3 million point of sale. And I would compare that in 2 years ago to only 700,000 point of sale. So you can see how big the market is growing. You know, it's still, the population is big in Egypt. We're 120 million. Mostly it's young population. I would say 70% below 35. So they are more tech savvy. And there is 67 million cards in Egypt. And that's helped my business. I would say that's 50% of them is prepaid cards. and the other 50 is between credit and debit cards. And that tells you something. That's when the national scheme launched in Egypt, MISA, the prepaid cards to include those who are not included in the banking system. And you can see the adoption of those prepaid card grew a lot, and that came with the government initiatives. They are encouraging everything to become, to be paid electronically, and that helped us all in Egypt. When all the government payments, like when you want to renew your license, all this stuff, they were mandatory to be paid electronically. Not only by card, but you can pay it by any electronic mean, whether it's a prepaid card, a wallet, anything. And that drove the adoption of the electronic space in Egypt.
Okay, but so what you are describing, it is more or less a payment terminal business, because it is what your company mainly does. But payment terminal, it is almost a commodity now. How can you compete with international, local players in that space?
Let me divide that into two. So it's not just your typical, your average point of sale business. You'll be surprised of the roadmap we have. Again, like I said in the introduction, that it's a feature-rich market. So when we entered the market, it's a point of sale that accepts payment via card. Then you will have now we had to get ready to accept wallets, because there is 40 million wallets. Then after that, the national scheme launched the instant payment network, InstaPay, which now grew to have 11 million users, where we can accept payment by QR over the terminal, and then you will have a huge VAS opportunity on that terminal. So we availed bill payments, so you can pay the bills, you can top up your phone over the same terminal at the merchant. You can also we accept all the buy now, pay later option, which is something big in Egypt now. We have over 15 buy now, pay later options, so we avail all that to be paid over the point of sale.
Maybe you can elaborate on the bill payment stuff, because for European it is not obvious, okay? Because in general, the power bills, the water bills, we pay them through our bank account. In Africa and in Egypt in particular, it's a little bit different. So what does a bill payment stand for?
You have it and you pay it online. For us, before even the fintechs, it was you have to pay in cash in the provider himself. So if you want to pay a Vodafone bill, you have to go to Vodafone store. If you want to pay a water bill, you will have to pay it through a collector that would come to your house. It's messy, like different way to pay your bills, and it was time consuming. So the first fintech I joined, we were just focused on bill payment, or introducing the electronic bill payment into the market, where we integrated with all the providers, made all the integration with them, and availed all the services on the point of sale, where you can still, via the merchant, you can pay by card or you can pay by cash, and we settle with the payment providers directly. It's a big business in Egypt.
Okay, so most of your clients finally are merchants, restaurants, whatever. So how do you create stickiness with these merchants? Because we see that more and more in Europe, this payment acceptance market is very price sensitive.
Look, like you said, for now we're B2B focused. We are very focused on helping the merchants grow their business and optimize it. So when we came into the market, it was obvious to us that at some point, competition-wise, it will lead us to start to burn our prices and commission to cope with competition, and we had a different strategy. It was creating stickiness, like you said. How we did that? That was by looking at the market in terms of industries. So we've seen the F&B, we've seen the education, we've seen the hospitality, and we said we have two approaches. One approach is M&As or acquisitions, that we will acquire solutions that we can integrate our payments with it, couple it, and give it to the merchant, so we create the stickiness and avoid burning our profitability, and creating as well a SaaS revenue, because our revenue as a fintech is transaction-based. So we diversified that, lowered our risk. So first of all, we did the F&B. We acquired an IP of a solution.
So food and beverage.
Food and beverage, yes.
Okay.
And now we have around 5,000 licenses. We exist either directly through coffee shops and restaurants by providing the POS, the full system, the ordering, the kitchen management integrated with the payment, and also the QR ordering from the table and everything, including home ordering and everything. That's on one aspect, and the other aspect is going to big parks. So we are available now in Global Village in UAE, which is the second largest park after Disney. So all the merchants inside the park are powered through our system, because those parks do revenue share with the merchants, and they would like to have the visibility on all the payments that's happening to do their share of the business. So we did that, and it's growing, and it's creating the right stickiness, because it's too hard for the merchant to get rid of all this, to the system and the payment and everything. So it creates the stickiness we want. We did the same model, but not through an acquisition, through a partnership in the education sector. We find the best ERP for education. We integrated our payments, and now it's being offered. Our payment is being offered by default to all the schools and universities using that ERP.
And so how many merchants today are using your solutions?
We are Saudi-based, by the way, and we exist in 3 markets, Egypt, Saudi, and United Emirates. And Egypt, Saudi was the base since 2008, and I was commissioned to do Egypt for 4.5 years ago. So we started from scratch, and proudly we reached today 80,000 merchants, and we have 5,000 merchants online, because we provide both online and offline. So we have a payment gateway having the same features I described on the point of sale. And we have around 3,000 licenses for the SaaS product for the F&B.
Okay.
Today also we collect around, we alone after 4 years, we collect around $1.3 billion annually as Geidea.
Okay, amazing figures. And that's the beauty of markets like Nigeria or Egypt in Africa. It is that very quickly you can reach figures, KPIs, which are very impressive. Not talking about the business, but just talking about demographics. In Egypt, every year you have 2 million new adults, so potential clients. It's huge, okay? And in Nigeria, it is closer to 4 million, okay? Just to give you a little idea of the figures, every year there is more birth in the only Nigeria than in the entire European Union. Though that's quite impressive.
I think we were joking before the panel. We said in Egypt, for 4 years of newborn, that's the population of Greece, the existing. So that's what we make every 4 years. So, yeah.
So you have mentioned your operations in the UAE, the fact that your DNA is from Saudi. Can you elaborate a little bit on, is Egypt a place for pure local players or also a place for foreign players coming from the US, Europe, the GCC?
No, it's for both. It's for both. It's for great local companies, like you've seen. There is Money Fellows. They just raised $13 million. You've seen that the local companies growing, and also you've seen the international players coming in. Like us, at least. I mean, we are international to Egypt. Forget about that. I'm the Egyptian guy, but at the end, I was commissioned by Saudi Investment to enter Egypt and start a business, and that happened. So that's happened. We have the NI, Network International, is in Egypt, and actually they're serving the whole Africa through Egypt.
Okay. And just one comment about Money Fellows, which is a very interesting fintech in Egypt. The 13 million they raised, it is to go out of Egypt. So it's an Egyptian success story, which is going to be rolled out in different Arabic countries, including Morocco, if I remember well.
Yeah. It's the money circle concept. I don't know if it's known in Europe or not, but it's very known in Egypt and some places of Africa, the money circle. Like people save with each other, and everyone has the turn every month to have the total amount of money. Yeah.
For the people who are familiar with the Francophone Africa, it is called tontine. And what this Egyptian startups offers, it is to digitalize this very well-known social habit. Yeah. The guys before have mentioned the talents that you can find in Africa. Can you please elaborate on how Egypt is a talent pool for you, but also for other scenarios?
Look, two things. I remember from the last panel, they said something very valid and very right, is when you're entering in Africa, you need to find the right partner. So finding the right partner and the right people will save you a lot of hassle and will give you a kickstart ahead of everyone. That's 100%. Coming in blind will not help you, you know. So that's one thing. Talent, Egypt alone or in specific, has a great talent pool, especially in technology and finance. So I will give you an example about us, Geidea. So when we came into the market, I was assigned to establish a regional center in Egypt, and we did that. Now it has 450 people, because also the FTE cost in Egypt is very cheap, because the dollar to the dollar value now, after all the devaluations that Egypt now runs through, it's like 50 to the dollar, 50 pounds to the dollar. So it makes it attraction in terms of the cost and in terms of the talent as well that's available. So this 450 people, they are in product, tech, finance, marketing, and they are serving the three countries, Egypt, UAE, and Saudi, and that saved us millions of dollars, like really millions of dollars.
Okay, so Egypt is an interesting pool of talent. It's an interesting playground to test the new digital concept, but it's also, and it is not necessarily well known, an interesting playground for classical Greek corporates. If I remember, you worked with, in the bottling space, a very well-known Greek company, which is active in Africa. Hellenic Coca-Cola.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes.
And also I want to add something. I mean, the government even was not the Egyptian government was not realizing this source of talent and this source of foreign income. 2 years ago, they started to adopt this, and I've seen big companies coming in, setting their base in Egypt, using the talent up to call centers and 15,000 people of whether call center agents or tech or, and it's becoming a major source of foreign income to Egypt now, powered by the government, by the prime minister, etc.
And the case of Egypt is very specific, because when you analyze where do the founders of African startups come from, you will realize that in Morocco, most of them, they studied in France, in Canada, same for in Kenya, where founders of local startups studied in the US or in the UK. Why Egypt is very specific, it is that most of the founders who launched startups in Egypt were raised and educated in Egypt, on the local market.
Yeah.
That's
we don't have the same like Morocco or Algeria or Tunisia, no. It's all pure local talent and expertise, yeah. No.
So we still have 2 minutes. Is there any question in the room regarding African startup, Egypt, funding for the African opportunities? No? So anyway, if you are too shy, do not hesitate after this session in talking with Ahmed or myself. More than happy to help you. And thanks again for your attention, your time, and your interest.
Thank you, everyone.